It's another momentous day. It looks like we're possibly on the cusp of new crackdowns on all these college encampments across the country in solidarity with Gaza, and we're going to keep an eye on them and update you with whatever's going on. But yeah, the establishment is freaking out over this display of decency, in the words of Colin Jost of SNL. That was a theme he tried to hammer home in kissing Biden's feet at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. But the real decency is coming from all these college students across the country, defying threats, defying insane Zionist counter protesters, trying to harass them, intimidate them, with all kinds of really just sick tactics, as we're going to talk about, to stand up for Gaza. And there's rumors about different crackdowns coming today, including at Columbia. So we'll keep an eye on it as we discuss it.
Yeah, I'm just sending a invite to Jeremy Lafredo. I don't know if he'll get it, but he's at Columbia University now. Earlier this morning, students there received a threat, 3-page letter from Columbia University administrators threatening the students, telling them they had till about 2 hours and 54 minutes ago to clear the campus. So there's now faculty linking arms surrounding the students. The students are preparing for a major escalation. This, as Jeremy pointed out, the letter contained the following line: "It is important for you to know that the university has already identified many students in the encampment." That's what the letter looks like. And it just basically levels an array of threats against the students to suspend them, to potentially remove them from campus, prevent them from graduating. And then it offers them an alternative resolution, as we can see here, which does still come with some disciplinary procedures. If they agree to leave before the police repression begins, then they'll have to sign some kind of form and say, we were just, a little bit confused and got caught up in the moment, but we give up and we will not ask for our demands to be met. The students have responded by saying, we will escalate tactics because we want you to divest from these manufacturers of weapons, death merchants that you're invested in, which are involved in Israel's genocide in Gaza. In Washington, D.C., well, go ahead. Yeah.
No, keep talking. I'm showing just.
In Washington, D.C., all students have converged around from around the area, all the way from University of Maryland, Baltimore County to Gallaudet University, which is a university for hearing impaired here in Washington, D.C. All universities have converged at George Washington University, just a few blocks from the State Department. I was there last night. It's growing in numbers. The school created barricades to prevent anyone who was not originally a part of that encampment from being a part of it. So all the other students are considered outside agitators. You can see the barricades right there. And they've been kind of turned into art. This is like an open mic taking place right outside the barricades. And, there's a lot of political education going on there. Just conversations at night, artwork. People were making T-shirts that read Free Palestine. Young people, including children, had come out from the community to participate in artwork. And it was just like a completely peaceful scene. Could not be more peaceful. It was like a be-in. How could anyone possibly be threatened? Keep it on that woman. How could anyone possibly be threatened by this? I met this woman whose name is Marlin Ingram, and she is from originally Hamburg, Germany, and she's a Holocaust survivor. Her grandmother was taken in Hamburg, Germany, and killed by the Nazi regime, and she and her family managed to remain there. This is according to her recounting of events through the Allied firebombing of that city. She moved to Washington, D.C. in 1960 and got involved in the civil rights movement with her husband, who is there with her, who's still alive. And you can see they're still involved in anti-war and civil rights struggles. So that was an amazing moment earlier that day when Marlin spoke to the students. As far as I know, there have been 0 Holocaust survivors who have served in Israel's government. There are definitely many Einsatzgruppen reenactors in that government today, though. So George Washington University administration, which like Harvard, University of Texas, Columbia University, is heavily invested in the arms industry, in companies that are involved with Israel, and has buildings all around campus named for prominent Zionists. I think that there's one building named for one of the major funders of Hillel. Yeah, that's a funny little, someone put a Post-it note on the School of Media and Public Affairs at George Washington that said complacency this way. I think they could have said complicity. But those, those administrators demanded that the DC Metropolitan Police Department crack down on the students. And the DC Metropolitan Police said, sorry, they're not involved in violence or property destruction. We learned a lot of lessons from 2020 during the BLM protests, and we're not going to do it. So the administration is more repressive than the police. This is a Washington Post headline. DC police rejected George Washington University's plea to sweep out university protesters.
Wow.
And this is happening at other campuses too, where the police are saying, we really just can't do this. It's going to hurt our image, and we're here to enforce the law, not to enforce political objectives. What are the administrators doing here? Like, what is the justification for this harsh repression that's taking place right now? Like right now, Texas state troopers, the same ones who failed the children at Uvalde, are brutally beating students at UT Austin, pulling them apart one by one as they form a circle on the central lawn at that school. What have they done? Apparently, I mean, this is my takeaway. I can't really figure it out. What they've done is they've been accused of anti-Semitism. They've committed speech crimes and thought crimes. And even if they were anti-Semitic, hate speech is protected under the First Amendment. So I don't know what the legal justification for these crackdowns is. And I am sure that if they were doing this for something more like benign and officially sanctioned that actually benefited elites, something like climate protest, there wouldn't be these kind of crackdowns. There wouldn't be this hysteria. This is all about the university administration being controlled by wealthy donors who are essentially determined to protect the political imperatives of the foreign apartheid state called Israel.